I saw this video. Will Legacy World of Warcraft be announced at BlizzConlive, which is in 3 weeks? More than TBC. I don't even know what the fuck he means by this, Legacy World of Warcraft. I don't even know what the fuck this is alluding to. So I'm gonna refresh here, and let's watch this. I don't know, Metagoblin. Let's play it. Here we go, boys. Wow, too loud. All full screen.
Alright guys, my name is Metagoblin. Today we're going to be talking about the possibility of Legacy World of Warcraft being announced at BlizzConlive next month in February. February the 19th to be precise. Now, what on earth do I mean by Legacy World of Warcraft? This title has probably piqued your interest a little bit because you're probably thinking, I have no idea what you're on about, please explain it as soon as possible. That's what I'm going to do right now. So I'm not just talking about the announcement of the Burning Crusade on February the 19th, I'm talking more of a long-term plan from Blizzard. Will something like that get announced? Plans to make TBC, Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, MoP, or something on those lines, or even something more interesting like a custom version of Classic WoW with spell batching fixed and no world buffs, etc, etc. Overall, will we get something a little bit more than just a bog standard TBC announcement? Although, obviously, if TBC does get announced, it will be pretty amazing. I think it will be very interesting and extremely good and exciting news if Blizzard did announce that they're going to naturally progress.
They fixed batching. They have a classic PTR. I mean, we could log into PTR now if you want to see it. The batch window right now in Classic Live servers is 400 ms. They are currently testing a batch window, where's my gum? On the PTR of 10 ms. Which means it's pretty much non-existent. So there's a lot of reasons why that's good. There's one reason why it's bad. Ret Paladins are big mad. Ret Paladins are fucking mad about this. Everyone else is happy. Ret Paladins are fucking mad because they can't seal twist anymore. They can't seal twist. And that's a big part of Ret Paladin gameplay. So, you know, maybe it shouldn't be 10 ms. Maybe it should be 100 ms. I don't think it's not like it could be 200. Just 400 is too much, right? 400 is really clunky and just unfun. But it could be 100 or 150 or maybe 200. That's the point of a PTR, right? If people don't like 10, if people are really unhappy with 10, if it breaks Ret Paladin gameplay, bump it up. Try it 100. Try it 200, right? Why not? They can try it really easily. You have a PTR for it specifically to test this out. So just 0.001% of the player base is Ret Paladin. I think you're wrong. There are way more Ret Paladins than you think there are. Ret Paladins, actually, there is a lot of fucking Ret Paladins, man, okay? Like, there are, and there's, by the way, there's only going to be more of them come TBC. You can't just ignore the Ret Paladin demographic. That's the truth. They're very zealous.
Not just
They're zealous
into TBC,
people.
but into the Wrath of the Lich King and then further expansion. So we get a little bit more
You don't want to make them mad.
Of their plans for the Legacy community. They may be thinking of taking it a step further where they release a separate version of World of Warcraft called Legacy World of Warcraft, where you can jump between different servers depending on which version of the game that you want to play. People do obviously criticise the idea of having multiple versions of World of Warcraft available for players to play because it will segregate the community, apparently. To me, this doesn't really make a lot of sense, to be honest, because if people have the freedom to play whatever expansion they want to play, then overall, more people would play the game. It would massively, in my opinion, enlarge the community.
Well, yeah, I mean, here's a point. Like, there's a lot of people that might not even play WoW at all right now. They don't care about Shadowlands. They don't care about Classic Vanilla. They couldn't give one fuck about Vanilla. But man, they love MoP. And if they make Legacy MoP, they might come back and play MoP, or Wrath, or Kata, or TBC, or whatever, right? There's a bunch of TBC guys that all they care about is TBC. They don't give 1/10 of one fuck about Classic Vanilla. They're just chilling. They've been chilling on TBC private servers. They're waiting for Classic TBC. And then they come in, right? So yeah, I guess it would split things to a certain degree, but it would introduce a lot of new people also. It would keep bringing in more people also.
Because some people prefer Classic, some TBC, some Mists of Pandaria, some will only play Wrath of the Lich King and are totally bored of Classic WoW. There's a mixture of different preferences in the community, and I think if you tailor Legacy World of Warcraft to everyone's interests, then overall the community will be bigger and more people will obviously be paying that subscription, which is something that makes Blizzard very happy. At the end of the day, the community of World of Warcraft is really the community of your current server. As long as your server is popular with a strong, great community, then who cares if overall less people are playing your version of the game and instead of playing a different one? It doesn't really matter. What matters is your guild and your server and your friends. They could also release certain interesting plans to progress through.
Now, of course, for arena queues and BG queues, you want a lot of people, or maybe multiple servers, so you can have fast arena queues and fast BG queues, not have a 10-minute Arathi Basin queue, for example. But I said a couple times now, I played throughout the day on this TBC arena private server, where you make a new character, you level 70 immediately, you get free level 70 gear, and you just queue arena. That's all you do. You just queue arena, right? And I was playing in the morning, I played in the afternoon, and I played in the evening. 3 different time periods throughout the day. The queues were instant, all day, nonstop. You queue, literally, boom. The second you click a button, queue pops. So, and this is just one server. This is just one private server. I don't know how many people are playing on the server, but it's insta queue pops. So, you know, I think it'd be fine regardless.
Every single expansion with fast progression. I've kind of highlighted this idea in the past. This would be more tailored for hardcore players, where, you know, you complete an entire expansion's content within 6 months, and then you move on to the next expansion. Okay, bit of a crazy idea. I don't think they'll do anything like this, but I think it would be pretty cool for the game if there was basically different ways, not just different expansions, but also different ways to play those expansions, and lots of customizability, loads of custom different servers, which provide more interesting ways of playing this game. Because at the end of the day, they can't just keep releasing the same expansion over and over and over and over again, right? Because people are eventually going to get bored of that. You know, you play Wrath of the Lich King for 4 years, you know, in a space of like a certain amount of time. I
think with a lot of people, and this is my thing, right? If I play vanilla for 2 years, and then I'm kind of burnt out on vanilla, I go play TBC for 1.5 years, 2 years, I might go play Wrath for 2 years. By the time I'm done with the other expansions, I'm ready to play vanilla again. Right, and I did that for a long time on private servers. I'd play a vanilla server, I'd go play a TBC server, I'd come back and play a vanilla server, and so it's not like you play vanilla once and you're done for the rest of your life, right? You kind of cycle through them, and I think that's another
your lifetime. Even you are going to get bored of it eventually. Yeah. There are some people who are excluded that rule, and you can definitely tell by private servers. However, the point I'm trying to make is, in order to create a little bit of spiciness, a little bit of excitement and originality in the Legacy community, then they could do something a little bit more drastic, a little bit more customized, in order to keep players interested in the game. Like I said before, they could release Classic WoW without world buffs. They could release Classic WoW with certain specs more viable than others, like Ret Paladin, for instance, being more viable by giving them Crusader Strike, because they did actually intend to give Ret Paladin's Crusader Strike in the original version of Vanilla WoW. They could do little things like that to make the game yet.
I love Paladin players. He's a Paladin player. I love Paladin players. You know how many Ret Paladins I've heard say, "Oh yeah, like on the alpha for Vanilla WoW in 2003, they had Crusader Strike, and so obviously they meant to give him Crusader Strike." It's like, well, actually, it's a pretty good sign they, you know, like, I think Paladins are too weak in vanilla, like, obviously, right? But it's like, yeah, you know, from their point of view, obviously, they didn't want them to have Crusader Strike because it was there in the alpha, and then they got rid of it. For 2 years, they didn't add it back in, so it's like, I'm not sure if that's the point you want to make.
Just generally a much new and fresh experience to keep people paying that subscription. At the end of the day, you always end up farming the same raid for about 2 to 3 months, despite the fact that you have all the best gear from that raid, and people obviously get fairly bored of that. So something like a fast progression server wouldn't actually be too much of a bad idea in the Legacy community, because we obviously already know the tactics, we know what's best in slot, we basically know everything about the game.
Yeah, I think it's not a bad idea either.
And it kind of trivializes the raid content just a little bit. If that content was coming out faster,
where each raid tier is like 2 months or 3 months,
it will change the pace up
really
a little
fun.
bit. It would make things a bit more interesting and a bit more challenging. Or they could buff the raids like private servers do. There's a number of different interesting ways that they can customize the Legacy version of the game. I don't know about you guys, but the limbo that all classic players feel right now, it honestly isn't great. We don't know if a TBC is coming. We have no idea what's going on, because what it does, it creates...
Dude, why has no one thought of this? You know one thing that would make Blizzard...
Nice glasses.
You know one thing that would make Blizzard a fuck ton of money that would actually help with the bot issue a lot? Aaron, thank you, man. Thank you. I'm feeling damn good. Make it so Classic and Retail are on a different sub, which means you can't, like, botters can't bot gold in Retail, buy a WoW token, pay for their sub, and then pay for their Classic sub, which they then go and bot in Classic, right? Put them on different subs. Because right now what botters are doing is botting gold in Retail. They're botting gold in Retail, buying a WoW token, paying for their universal WoW sub, both Retail and Classic sub, with the Retail gold, and then botting in Classic, right? Just make us pay $10 a month to play Classic. Like, I think, would you, I mean, you got, like, who here pays for their Classic sub with Retail gold? Do you guys actually, I can't imagine that most Classic players pay for their Classic sub with Retail gold. I sure as fuck don't. Like, I'm not logging into Retail to farm gold to pay. You some of you do? Okay, well, I think most people probably don't. If the trade was pay $10 a month to decrease botting by whatever percent, I don't know, 50% or 60, or I don't know how many people do this, or how many, bots do this, how many bots are doing this. Like, it'd be a good trade for me, man. Sounds good. Like, I'm already paying $10 a month to play Classic, so they should do it. I'm telling you, dude, they should do it.
This kind of uncertainty, a lot of people are on the fence about continuing to keep preparing for TBC, or just to continue playing the game in general, because we don't know if TBC is coming or if there's going to be fresh servers, and you may prefer to roll on a fresh server. If we knew exactly what's happening right now, if we knew TBC was coming, because at the end of the day, like, you always know when a new expansion is coming about when there's like 6 months left of your current expansion, right? And Naxxramas is out, basically all the content's out. We should have, in my opinion, at least found out about the time of Naxxramas, but I think what's been awkward for Blizzard is that Shadowlands came out, then Naxxramas came out, and then, announced in TBC as well. It's a bit, it's too many big announcements in one. That's probably why they're saving it for Blizzconlive, or hopefully they are anyway. A point that I'm trying to make here is, if we actually...
Well, I think the plan, right, was obviously for Shadowlands not to get delayed. Shadowlands comes out in October, Naxxramas comes out in December, and they announced TBC in November. So it's Shadowlands October, TBC announcement November at BlizzCon, and then Naxxramas in December. But Corona fucked all of that. They had to delay Shadowlands by 2 months because of COVID, and then BlizzCon gets delayed to an online event by like 4 months or whatever. So everything, like, you can't really blame Blizzard too much for the shitty... It was a shitty timeline, but you can't really blame them too much, because COVID has just fucked everyone, right?
We knew TBC was coming. A lot of more people will be playing the game and preparing for TBC, and again, paying that subscription. I may criticise, Blizzard quite a lot, but I genuinely do want them to succeed as a community, because it means more cool stuff for the Classic community. I think a lot of people in the community, because we got absolutely no changes, well, let's be honest, barely any changes, because there were some changes in Classic WoW, it's made people realise, first of all, how much they appreciate retail World of Warcraft. Shadowlands was a big...
I was watching a streamer, I'm not going to say who, but I was watching a streamer, it was 2 days ago, and I tuned in and someone asked him, do you think, how do you think Classic played out? Do you think Classic was good? He said, yeah, Classic has been pretty good, except for these 2 changes they made. Outside of these 2 changes, Classic has been perfect. It's been perfect. He said, the first change, I hate that they made it so you can't follow each other in Battlegrounds. You need to make it so you can follow your own characters in Battlegrounds. I hate that they changed that, man. Second off, they got rid of multi-boxing. You can't use third-party software to multi-box. So they changed those BG things, and they changed that multi-box thing. Classic WoW has been perfect. It's been perfect across the board. And I'm sitting there like, man, like, out of all the fucked up shit that they did at this game, layering, like, all this bullshit, that is what you're gonna say? That's what you're gonna say is the fucked up... Agenda Andy's agenda.
Popular launch. And just how much people really want a few sneaky little cheeky changes from time to time. Again, with the spell patching thing, the world buffs, which a lot of people don't like. You know, some people just wouldn't be that bothered by changes anymore because now it means something different. I'll give you an example. So recently, the Lord of the Rings Online, they released legacy servers. About the same time that Classic WoW came out actually, but they didn't actually change the game at all. They just, you know, released it on the retail version of the game, but time-gated the content. Now, that's definitely probably unpractical to happen in World of Warcraft, because too much has changed due to the amount of, like, customizability, the stat changes and everything like that. But playing Classic World of Warcraft on a Wrath of the Lich King
Sorry, I gotta rewind it. Hold up. This tree is riding a Kodo. This is footage from the Dark Portal opening event. It's like the promotional thing that Blizzard put out. This is Blizzard footage they put out. And this tree, this druid in tree form, is riding a Kodo. Okay. Maybe that was the original plan. Nice one, Blizzard.
Playing Classic World of Warcraft on a Wrath of the Lich King client is actually quite interesting. There's some private servers that have done that in the past, like Primal WoW. And I personally find things like that quite interesting. But it remains to be seen. At the end of the day, a lot of people do not like the customizability arguments that I'm making now, which is fair enough. I definitely don't think there should be too much of a radical change to the legacy version of the game, but I do think there should be tiny insy little bit,
a lot of spectral,
just to keep things fresh and interesting and keep people actually playing this game. But anyway, that's where I'm going to end the video there, guys. Tell me what you guys think in the comment section. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel for more content like this coming on a much frequent weekly basis. My name is Metagoblin, and until my next video, ciao.
Wow, okay. Ciao! That's Metagoblin's video. Yeah, I don't know. Like, at BlizzCon, do you think they're going to talk about plans for classic content bigger than classic TBC? I doubt they're going to talk about anything beyond TBC. I bet it's like only TBC. Anyway, here's the video.